Welcome to the DiCOTA Magazine Show, the premier talk show where we celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion in business, leadership, and innovation. Each episode will introduce you to influential leaders from all sectors, ethnicities, and backgrounds. We'll share with you the story behind their story of how they made it, and you can too. I'm your host, Cedric Fisher, 40-year career journalist and publisher of DiCOTA Magazine. Welcome to the DiCOTA Magazine Show. I'm your host, Cedric Fisher. As you know, each episode we bring you an influential leader from all sectors, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Today we have another special guest on the show, and let me introduce his background before we bring him on. A most prolific abstract painter and creative design guru. We're honored to bring our next guest on the show, Mr. Bob Lombardi. Here's a bit about Bob. He was born in Brooklyn, the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, New York, attended the School of Industrial Art, the Pratt Institute, School of Visual Arts, and received a scholarship from the Society of Illustrators. Bob owns a Northeast advertising agency and currently resides in Helotes, Texas. Bob says, looking at my abstract paintings can change how you feel. The colors can impact your mood, make you think, melt boundaries, and cause you to act differently. The intensity of the colors can inspire greater love and deeper understanding. The colors can wake you up and move you. That's pretty profound.
Pretty profound.
Help me welcome to the show, Mr. Bob Lombardi. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you, Cedric. I appreciate that.
Before we get into the show here, just kind of share with our audience your background, where you're from, and maybe even the birth order and that kind of information.
Sure. I was born in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, like you said, and I spent most of my life during the 50s in that Williamsburg. Today, it's a mecca of art. Then it wasn't, but today it is.
Where is Williamsburg in relation to Brooklyn? Is it North
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn?
It's right over the Williamsburg Bridge.
So it's right on the other side of the bridge.
Right on the other side of the bridge.
You could see it from Manhattan.
Yes, okay. You can. It's one of the 3 or 4 bridges that you see crossing over to Manhattan. Yeah, so I started loving art at a very young age. My dad was a bus driver in Brooklyn, and my friends used to call him Ralph, based on Jackie Gleason's character of The Honeymooners. And he would get his shirts laundered, and when they came back from the laundry, they had a white cardboard in the back. I would go in his drawer and take out the cardboard, and I would use that as a piece of material to sketch on and to do different designs. I was only about 6 or 7, so I started really young. At that point in my life, I knew what I wanted to be and what I was going to do. It never changed, so I continued to paint, to sketch, and then went into art school, and from that on, just kept studying and doing what I had to do this.
Okay. You've brought some of your great work today, and there's a chronology here of painting, so maybe you can start with the very first one and talk to us about the rest of it.
Sure. I started as a traditional artist, and like traditional artists, I was doing landscaping, flowers, still lifes, anything that might just be a steady visual. And so I started painting, and this is an example of just one of my traditional pieces.
Okay.
But as I started to do abstract painting, I realized without knowing that my traditional paintings had some sort of abstraction in them. So it was kind of hidden. So in this particular painting, where it's basically traditional, I have some abstract work going on. Never realized it. Okay?
Yeah.
And then as I looked back and I started looking at my other traditional paintings, I realized, oh, wow, I do have abstract background in it. So
Okay.
that was the beginning.
What's the definition of abstract? What's
Well, what's the definition of
because
abstract?
we hear that all the time, but just
Yeah,
kind of define
I
that
know.
for our audience. What's that?
You know, when an abstract painting is created, you don't really see it with your eyes. You see it with your mind. Your mind kind of influences your likes and dislikes about when you're looking at it, okay? Because everybody sees abstraction differently. You see it one way, I see it the other way. People see things in my painting that I never see. When I paint with love and the feeling of movement. So I guess that's the definition of abstraction.
Okay.
It's how you paint it and how people receive it and look at it.
So it's real subjective. It's kind of
Yes,
from your vantage
your
point.
mind, your mind does the thinking on it, and what you get out of it is what it is. Because your eyes see one thing, your mind sees another in abstraction. That's what's great about it. If you painted a rose and I painted a rose, in the morning it would still be a rose, and it would still look like a rose. But when you're dealing in an abstract painting like this one, every day you'll see something different. You'll look at it, and one day I had one person that bought a painting and said, when I get up in the morning, I see a horse. When I get up the next morning, I see two horses. And then the next morning I get up and I see no horses. So she said, well, you know, that's the way it is, and that's what I love about them, okay? It's just not a rose. It's not a single thing. And that's how I look at it, you know.
That's good.
And it's so much fun to know that. So when I paint, I know, you know, we're going to have other questions here, but when I paint with a lot of love, a lot of feeling, and a lot of movement. My world is color. I love color, and I produced a book called The Love of Color. So to me, that's everything. It's movement, it's color. I may be jumping ahead here, but...
Okay, no problem. And we'll talk about the book here in a second. So this was your very first painting,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, yes.
And this led to the one right behind you, or the white one here?
Funny you should ask. I have a cute little story to tell you how I discovered that I was an abstract artist. I was flying, I forget where, either was to New York or somewhere, and we had a 3-hour flight. And at that time, about 15 years ago, a flight attendant gave out cookies, you know, when they gave you cookies at those days.
Okay, sure.
And wrapped around the cookies was a wire tie. So I took the wire tie off, and I said, isn't this interesting, the way it moves, the way it shapes, the way it turns, and how it bends? And I started to sketch the different turns and the different ways that I would see it. And I said, when I get back, I'm going to make a painting. And when I got back, I made a real big painting that's at the Hilton right now in Vernon, Texas. And so that led me to do others, like the one behind me here. That's what I call a twist painting.
Okay.
It's just, and I like to work in series. So I did a series of the Twist, and at that time I was in Gallery 195 in Bernie, and they did a whole big show on the Twist. Well, an art critic heard about it, came down, and wrote a 7-page positive article on the Texas Contemporary magazine. And from that, I got such a beautiful review that it started me thinking about what I had to do. And I did. And from that point, I went from the Twist series to the Girly Twist series behind me,
Okay.
and then to an Innocent Twist series. Innocent Twist, I always got out that it's nobody ever thinks about the wire twist. You know, it holds our bread together, it holds our cleaners together, and nobody thinks how important it is. And I thought how cool it would be to really do things on it. And so I created the Girly Twist. And there's a series of 4 or 5 of those. Some are really large, full figures. And she's Girly Twist 2.
Girly Twist 2. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And what?
The second transformation.
How did I get the name Girly? Okay. I was in a Chinese restaurant, and I dealt with this waiter always. He was a very friendly guy. His name was Johnny. And he said, I said, Johnny, I like hot sour soup, but I don't want it too spicy. So he said, no, I'll give it to you. And if you don't like it, I'll take it back. I said, okay. So he brings it, and it's, Johnny, this is too spicy. So he said, oh, you want girly soup. So from that, I loved the word, and I just thought that would be great to create a series of girls with the twist. And so that's what I did. And that's how it got its name.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So this was inspired by a twisty you got on the airplane.
Right.
That led to
that
the Girly series of Twist.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what's this great piece of work?
Okay,
here?
I just finished this, and it's called Zip.
Zip.
Because I usually get my names when I'm painting, and it's the first thing that hits me, that word that'll say, this is what the painting is about. And I got a feeling of the movement going around, and I said, zip. Mm-hmm. One time I painted a painting, and I couldn't find a name in my mind what I would call it. And I simply said to the painting, talk to me. And that was the name.
So whatever the painting spoke
I
first.
feel it's got to come out natural. It must come out with a flow. It's got to come from the soul. That's the way I like it. I don't like to make up or try to make up a name for it.
When you are approaching a new piece of art or work, how long does it take for you to arrive at, I'm going to paint Zip? Mm-hmm. Do you talk to the canvas, a blank canvas first, and then kind of get inspired?
I kind of think about it for a while. I'm almost thinking about it when I'm doing another painting, what the next painting would be. And it's really derived at what color do I want this painting to take over on. Mm-hmm. And so I think about it a lot, and by the time I start painting, it never really comes out the way I thought about it. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. No matter how I try, it won't let me do it. It's almost going on automatic pilot.
Wow.
It's taking over the feelings and the movement and the colors. And that's where I get my total creative freedom. is where it's just taking it from your soul and putting it on canvas. You know, before I started canvas, I kind of put my hands over it and get some vibrations from it. I know that's a little strange, but that's what I do.
No. Okay. I kind of assumed it's a spiritual awakening and almost,
right.
you know, something that...
I had one experience where I was showing this woman my paintings because she was a follower on Facebook, and then she finally arranged a meeting with me, and I was in my studio, and I was showing her around the studio with the different paintings, and she stopped at one, and the painting was called Candy, very abstract, a lot of colors, and it was a big one. It was like 4 feet by 4 feet. So I was talking with her, and I noticed that she had a hand over here on her chest. But then I noticed that there was a tear running down her eye, like that. I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm sorry." She said, "But this painting reminds me of something that I can't really figure out. It's either my family or it's the colors. It's something that is, I feel the love in it, and I want to buy it." And that was the greatest payment I could ever have.
Wow.
That this person experienced. Sometimes they talk about that the painting communicates with them. This painting, these are actual quotes, by the way. This painting is talking to me. Okay, I can feel the love. There is so many wonderful, and that's what it's really all about. When I hear that somebody says, I wake up in the morning and I have my coffee in front of the painting, and I just feel so good.
Mm.
And that's what I love, and that's what I get out of it.
And that's the purpose of the painting.
Right.
Anyway, to move and touch and inspire a certain feeling.
Well, I know what I put into it, and I know how I feel. You know, I'm my biggest critic, and if I don't like the way it looks, it's not going anywhere. So
we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with some questions for Mr. Bob Lombardi. We'll be right back.
What is Influence DiCOTA? Influence DiCOTA simply means promoting or influencing diversity and communities through opportunities, technologies, and amenities. These are key areas for building and securing a future global society, and who wouldn't want that? Influence DiCOTA can offer specific solutions to the actual challenges facing diversity and inclusion within today's marketplace. With the right mix of diversity and inclusion practices, shared missions, and common sense and values, we can reach our global diversity goals and build a future that's truly global in scope. Influence DiCOTA, offering competitive, compelling, comprehensive coverage that address the actual needs of today's consumers, communities, and commerce. Join the movement now.
Welcome back to the Influence Magazine Show. Today we're here with our special guest, Mr. Bob Lombardi, an abstract painter. Welcome back, Bob.
thank you.
So let me ask you this question. How do you feel about your paintings and their ability to influence the next generation of artists?
Okay, as you know, San Antonio has a lot of painters, a lot of artists, and most of them paint blue bonnets and cows and cowboys and, you know, what's traditional. When I came into town, of course, I'm from New York, so, and they always say, we can tell. And
It's the accent, right?
So I came in with my artwork, and it was kind of traditional and normal, so I fit in. But in the last 10 years, where I'm doing abstraction, they kind of, were shocked about abstract art. And little by little, people were buying it. And of course, the influence of new homes coming from California and different states to San Antonio, they're building more and more new contemporary houses. And the colors in those houses are white, black, and gray.
Interesting. Okay.
So when I show them this, it adds the spark and life into the home. It just brightens up everything.
How about that?
And so the artists that today, I see them doing more abstract. And a lot of people tell me that they're starting to follow me and look what I'm doing to see where Helotes Gallery, in Helotes, I was the only abstract artist for a long time. Mm-hmm. And recently, there are 2 more abstract artists in there. So it's beginning to catch on with other artists. And that's what I think that I'm, bringing to the table.
If there was an abstraction master artist that you would aspire to be, or kind of a mentor that you look up to, who would that be?
Jackson Pollock, of course, is great. He had his time. He started as a little bit on the traditional side, but mostly different symbolisms in art like that. And then he went into the drip painting. So, but he too, colors and movement, mostly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And your work is currently being displayed at the Helotes Gallery in Helotes, Texas, the Bevy Hotel?
Yes, Hilton. It's Hilton in Bernie.
In Bernie, okay. Yeah. A Doubletree Hilton, is that also in Bernie?
Yes, no, that's the same one.
Same one, okay. Yeah. Art Gallery, Bernie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are there any other venues outside of Texas where people can find your art?
But I've had my a lot of my shows in the New York area. I was in a national show with the Salvagundi Club, that's on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, and I had several one-man shows in New Jersey.
Bob, we have the privilege here on the show of meeting some very influential leaders, and a lot of us know that leaders are readers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A lot of leaders are readers. They typically will have a go-to book that they refer to maybe weekly or occasionally. Sometimes they pick up the book once a year or every couple of years. That book is generally found on their nightstand. What book is on your nightstand?
What book is on my... Well, I love Vincent van Gogh.
So Vincent van Gogh is
the
book on your nightstand?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, very good. And do you pick the book up weekly, once a year?
Well, he had a very depressing life, and when I read it, I get kind of depressed.
Okay.
So I pick it up now and then just to get a feeling of how he was thinking about certain things.
Okay. Now, you too have published a book, right? You brought it today?
Yeah, I did.
Talk to us a little bit about your book.
Sure. This book is called The Love of Color. And I wanted to create this book and talk about in the inside, which talks about how I feel about color and movement and the fact that it does move people in different ways. I can tell you one quick story.
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And my work was up at a financial company, and they asked us to put my paintings up there. And so I have a painting that is a red painting. If I might. It was this painting.
Okay.
It was all red, and it's a very large painting. So I put it up on the wall, and this gentleman's secretary was right there by the painting. And I got a call from him, and he said, "Bob, you got to move that painting." I said, "Really? Why? It looks so good there." He said, "Well," he said, "I'll tell you, my secretary is not too happy. She goes home depressed. She goes home in a bad mood, and her husband is getting very upset. So we have to do something." And she's saying that the painting is getting to her. So I said, "Really?" And when we went and we changed it to a blue painting, which would be calm and relaxing. And so I put the painting in a different area. That led me to believe how a color affects a person's emotions. How you can get either annoyed or angry or feel love or not feel love or communicate with the painting. And so that was a good example for me now. And I really love the fact that it was expressed like that. So that was one way that in my book I talked about the reaction on the colors and painting. So if you have a blue painting, you're going to feel calm. Yellow is optimism. You feel very optimistic when you see color of yellow, and so on. And
So
that
blue, calm, yellow, optimism.
right? Blue, black
Red.
is a well. Red is a very, it provokes passion. Okay, it stimulates it. Black is a formal color. It kind of holds things together. And so, you know, I talk a little bit about that in my book.
In the book.
Yeah,
And the book title again is
it's Lombardi, the love of color.
Love of Color.
And that is my theme of what I do. I have, you know, a website, and it's called The Love of Color.
Yeah. Where can folks find the book?
Actually, there's a very limited edition.
Okay.
And it's not on a newsstand or anything.
On Amazon or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
If somebody purchases a painting,
Yeah.
I just give them a book, and it's just for really PR reasons and giving it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice touch. Very nice touch. Couple final questions for you. First and foremost, do you have any upcoming events that folks may want to tune into?
Yes, I do. We are putting on a very big show at the Hilton in November 19th and the 20th. We are tying it in with Ballet San Antonio. They will receive a portion of the proceeds that what the paintings are sold for, and we will have ballerinas at the show.
Oh, nice.
Greeting people. We will give away a couple of tickets to the Nutcracker from the ballet. We also have Sonny Melendrez as MC, talking about the sponsors that we have and talking about the artists as the show goes on and moves on. We'll have a violinist and, of course, refreshments and whatever. But that is going to be a very extravagant show. There will be 12 to 15 of the most important artists in Texas.
Okay.
Okay?
It'll be at the Hilton or
Yes, it'll be at the Hilton in the Grand Ballroom.
Grand Ballroom? What date is that?
That is November 19th
November 19th. Okay.
and November 20th.
And the 20th, 19th
Yes.
and 20th at the Hilton Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see it on our website, which is called masterartworkshow.com. And you'll see the artists, you'll see videos of the artists and their work. And of course, the ballet, which is going to be wonderful. They're very excited about the fact that they're in there with us. So it should be a very extravagant show. It's going to be a fun show and a very upscale show. So
Okay.
we're looking forward to that.
Sounds
And plus the fact that you can see me and two other artists at the Hilton. Meet the artists at the end of the month, every month. At the end of this month, May, and on.
And we're talking the San Antonio downtown Hilton.
This San Antonio Bernie.
With Bernie
Yeah, it'll be Bernie Hilton.
Hilton, the Bernie
Yeah.
Hilton. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a Hilton
Yes, there is.
downtown.
Yes,
on
yeah.
the river.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that one.
Okay.
It's the one in Bernie.
In
It's a
Bernie.
brand new hotel.
Okay.
Beautiful, and we're very fortunate to tie in with them.
Okay. Final question. Hopefully, this interview and show has stimulated and motivated some folks, maybe inspired them and moved them and touched them. If they should want to get in touch with you, how can folks reach out to you? Bob?
Okay. Well, I have a website called Lombardi, theloveofcolor.com, and I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. And then of course I'm on the website, the masterartworkshow.com, and my phone number is there. I welcome, phone calls. I'll take them and get back to you, or you can reach me on my email. There's a lot of
Okay.
ways to get in touch with me.
Okay. Abstract artist Bob Lombardi. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you,
Really
Cedric, for
appreciate
having me. It was a great pleasure working with you on this.
We'll see you back here next time when we bring on another influential leader to the Influence DiCOTA Magazine Show.